Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I low-key just recorded this. That's why I have my Bible open. But I got a text from my mom, so I'm going to start it over. Anywho, I'm here with a phrase that God gave me and a vision. He rather you forget. And then in this vision, I saw someone putting something in a box filled with goo. And okay, as I said, the goo is green. It's like this green goo. And there are bubbles that are forming from the goo and popping like it's oozing and it's just moving around like it's alive. It was weird. And it is on a shelf. He's putting this on a shelf inside of a locker. So he slams the door to the locker. He locks it and he don't want nobody get into it. The scripture, y'all didn't get to see it, but Bob popped open to it. You know what I'm saying? The scripture comes from Daniel 5:26. Here's what these words mean. Mene, God has numbered the days of your reign and brought it to an end. Tekel, you have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. Perez, your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. So here's the message. For somebody, you were in a relationship with someone that they was just acting a complete fool in this relate. Like I feel like this person that was acting up. They was always acting up. They was always cheating. They were always arguing with you. They was always fighting with you. They were always trying to abuse you. They were always looking at you weird. They was always treating you funny. They was always being like, this is somebody that they did everything out of spite. They went out of their way to make you upset. They went out of their way to break your heart. They went out of their way to make you feel as though you were not meant, like they just made you feel so small. God said he has numbered the days of their reign over you. Now they would like to put everything that they did and the way that they act and your memories of the way they behaved and how they treated you and them cheating on you and your memories of this happening, that happened. They want to take all that stuff and they want to put it in the goo and they want to put the goo on the shelf and they want to close it up inside of a locker and lock it, and they want to throw away the key, or they for sure not finna give you the code to it because they don't want you to know. But God says no. Their reign of terror in your life is over. You have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. God knows that they want this. All they gonna do is do it again. All they gonna do is do it again. This is somebody they don't want you to remember, so they will have an easier chance, an easier opportunity of being able to break your heart again. It'll be easier for them. It'll be easier for them. Your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. I just feel like God is saying the kingdom is divided. Like this is literally a separation. Even as I'm giving this message, I'm looking at this paint. I talked about this paint in the last. But when I went and bought this, there was her and then there was a male. When I looked at the male reminded me of my estranged husband. And I was like, I'm not getting that. And I'm thinking about how technically I divided the paintings, because even though they were sold separately, they come together. It's the female and the male, but I'm separated. I was like, what am I going to do with that? I don't want to have a painting that I'm going to look at, and every time I look at it, I'm going to think about him. No, we're going to leave that at the stove. God said it has been separated. It has been divided. It has been torn apart. Because you remember what they did. You remember how they treated you. You remember how they broke your heart. You remember what they said. You remember all these things. As much as they would like you to forget. And that's the message. That's literally the message. God said they want you to forget. But you can't. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's not a situation. I don't want it to spill. Oh, my tea done got cold. I don't know if y'all know this, but I don't like cold tea. I don't know why. I just don't. I don't. It's not. I'm not. I'm not the kind of person where I put sugar in my tea. I'm not. I'm a loose, I like to use the loose leaves. I don't know what it is about like me personally, but I like the loose leaves. I like being able to see that these are actual herbs that I'm putting in my. I don't want nothing that, like they done took some fragrance and sprayed it on a piece of paper and they hid it inside the bag and made it look like it's tea. I want real tea. I want real tea because I'm somebody that I have experienced what it feels like to grow a plant and pluck off the leaves, let them dry out, and make my own tea. And because of that, I want the loose leaf tea. Okay, there was a point in time where I ain't even used no barrier to separate the leaves of the tea from the water, and I was just drinking it. Sometimes I would end up swallowing some of the leaves and I'll be like, you know what, it is what it is, it's edible. Okay. That's extra. Well, I'm just being real. But I just feel like for whoever this is for, as I'm explaining this, you know yourself to such an extent that you know that you also know what this person got going on. You know what I'm saying? You don't, like, the interesting thing about a relationship is it's kind of like you don't really know a person until you really know a person. And sometimes just dating somebody, just being best friends, just being boyfriend and girlfriend for years, you get married, oh man, all kind of stuff. You start finding out all kind of stuff about that person. You just be like, what? And this is somebody like, y'all already know, like, my current, I know him since I was in middle school. My ex knew him for 10 years. You never know somebody until you, like, it's interesting. But yeah. Like, I like, you know what I'm saying? There've been people that be like, you better make sure you marry somebody that you've known, just knowing them for a year, just knowing them for a month. I married people I knew for years, and they know me. Baby got married. It was like, who are you? Okay, that's the message though, y'all. God said whatever this situation is, it's a situation where you know what they did. It's no way that you can forget. You may have forgiven, but you ain't forget. And because you ain't forget, that's a problem to them. Because they can't carry on doing it now. They can't do what they want to do. They can't treat you how they want to treat you. They can't act the way. They can't do nothing. They can't do that no more because you remember. You remember. I just feel like that's like the biggest, the heaviest part of this message is you remember what they did. You remember how they did you. You remember how they treated you. You remember. And it's so easy to reminisce on the good days. It's easy to reminisce on good memories. It's easy to reminisce on when they were loving and they were caring and they were sweet and they were supportive. But this is somebody, you reminisce on those days, but as soon as you get ready to start feeling like, oh, God be like, don't you remember? Don't you remember? Don't you remember? And don't you remember? Okay, some of y'all was in some abusive relationships, some abusive marriages. Some of y'all was with some people that was like they were cheating on you with no regard to your feelings, no regards to your safety, no regards to your well-being. I mean, some of y'all may have had experiences where the mistress was standing outside your house, yelling, screaming, banging on the door, acting like she has some kind of rights to your husband, baby. And I've been there, and it's just like, to me, I just. You can't make it up. Baby, you can't make it up. I'll never forget my first man, the mistress, sitting outside my door, naked, on her bed. She didn't hire somebody to take her bed and lay it in front of my door, screaming and yelling about how dare he not be coming to see her. Baby, you can't make stuff like this up. You cannot make it up. I just feel like this for somebody you remember. And because you remember, you would never. You could see them and say, hey, how you doing? You may still care, but as far as jumping through hoops for them again, no. Knocking stuff over to be with the, oh no. No, I'm you know what I'm saying? And that's just goes to say, like what I said in my last message, it's a difference between somebody who is single and lonely and somebody who is single and happy. Because it's a difference between, I would prefer to be single and be happy than to be in a relationship and be miserable. And baby, ain't that a lesson? But that's the message. I just feel like for whoever this is for, you are happily away from them. You ain't got time for that. 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 And I just feel like for somebody, you ain't nobody got time for no man that cares. So I just feel like cares so little that they would flaunt their mistress in your face. They would allow their mistress to try to talk crazy to you. They want to act as if they don't hear nothing. They don't see nothing. They like the three monkeys. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. They don't know what's going on. They confused. They Ray Charles all of a sudden. Ain't nobody got time for that. And they can try as much as they can to say, but don't you remember this and don't you remember that? Yeah, you remember that. But as soon as you start thinking about that, you also start remembering how they treated you, how they behave, how they act, and how they act as if they could not keep their thing in their pants. You can't forget. But that's the message. Woo! That's the message, y'all. This somebody, God say their reign of being your husband is over. Their reign of being your husband is over. Their reign of being your wife is over. Their reign of causing all kind of hostile problems and causing all kind of chaos in your life is over. God has weighed their heart on the scales and found what they want. And all they want is for you to forget what they did so they can carry on doing it, and that they just going to ease their way back in there. They're going to do it slower this time. They're going to act like they're not going to do nothing. And then once you get comfortable, there they go. Once you get comfortable, they're going to be acting a fool. Once you get comfortable, here come the real them. That's the message. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Deuces.